Today we are doing the full service on the John Deere Z930M, except for the fuel filter, because I already did that. Step one, drain the transmissions, or the drive wheels, or yeah, whatever they are. Hopefully you can see. Oh, I dropped it. That's annoying. And we'll just pull the filter out so it drains out a lot quicker. By a lot quicker, I mean instantly. I guess I'll just drop it in there. Throw that pan in. Why am I not on the creeper right now? This is dumb. At least I didn't drop the cap that time. And then pull that out. That drains right out. And scoop this all the way back here. I should be able to drain the oil while I wait for those. I've only put 40 hours on the machine since the last oil change I did, but I'm going to change the oil anyways. So when I start out next spring, it's ready to go for 100 hours. Obviously the oil needs to get checked because it does burn off quite a bit. So it needs to be topped up every couple of days. But when this thing is running 20 to 25 hours a week, I'm changing it once a month. So I think it's had, well, obviously it's had 6 oil changes, maybe 7, because I did change it last fall. This does twist, so you gotta be careful with it. Ooh, it's got a lot of gunk in it. There we go. Yeah, I was bagging leaves is really dusty this fall, so everything's got a coating, and I didn't have a chance to give this machine a deep clean before the end of the year. Hopefully, there we go. Yeah, that oil doesn't look bad. There we go. And this is where we make a giant mess. Yeah, that oil doesn't look too bad. This has only got 40 hours on it, so. Now, while we let all the fluids dry out, you can see that's the fuel filter right there. I do need to move the clamps in, but it was cold. So we got to change the spark plugs. The oil is draining out down there. And the fuel filter. Air filter, jeez. They did design it halfway decent, so you can kind of get into it, sort of. If it wasn't for the bagger bracket here, this would be super easy to get to with this back housing. But because I have the bagger on it, it makes everything a little bit more difficult. And I know in the spring, there are certain areas that I will want the bagger for to bag the leaves. Or not bag the leaves, bag the grass, because it grows so darn fast because it's so wet, fertile soil. So it grows like 4 inches in 4 days, and it really bogs the mower down. So to be able to just bag it up as you're mowing it is beneficial. And then by mid-May, early June, we'll take the bagger off and leave it off until the fall. All right, let's get the spark plugs out. It's swapped out. I'm just gonna use the ratchet and hope I don't bash my fingers. Which I did not. Doesn't look bad. Looks a little, it doesn't even look that warm. It looks a little warm, but it's not that bad. Doesn't look worn, but I would rather spend the, I don't know, what is it, $4 for a spark plug every year and have everything up to snuff and running properly. I'd rather just do it annually and not have to worry about it. Maybe if it was my own lawnmower and I had to pay for it, maybe I'd let it go a little bit more often or longer, you know, every couple of years. But I do this on all the equipment. Doesn't matter. Same reason I change hydraulic fluid on the tractor, or I'm not going off of the hours necessarily. It's one less thing I have to worry about in the middle of summer when, oh, you've hit 1,000 hours or you've hit 500 hours, and now you have to stop everything, do the service on that mower or that tractor, and now you're doing that service when you could be doing something that's more important for the time, like fixing broken toilets or mowing fields that are needed, or keeping camp looking its best. Ooga sweet. That spark plug's done. To the other one. This one sucks to get to. Blower motor's right here. That bracket is there. That more bracketing, and it's right down in there. So I have to go through the top to get to this. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. I don't know. Ow, what the heck? Who designed this? Because I say this design sucks. Without a doubt. This is stupid. How did I do this last year? That's the real question. All right, I'm just gonna get this installed because whoever designed this hates the people that have to work on it. And I, one day, if I ever meet them, I will at least have some choice words to tell them. There may be something else. John Deere, I don't care if you see this. You're not paying me. I paid money for this mower, and I freaking hate changing that spark plug on that side. The way, and it's not necessarily, the gripe isn't necessarily with this piece. It's this piece that now blocks, so you don't have access to the spark plug from here. Like, I know you need to mount it up, but maybe just a little bit of forethought on how things needed to be mounted up so you could, you know, maybe get to the spark plug. And it doesn't matter if I had the bagger on or if I had the blower on. Like, yeah, I could get to the mower a little bit easier, but I still can't get to that without taking the whole back end off. This one thing made me make me change brands. Like, I'm not brand loyal, I don't care. It worked out that this is what I got. But if anybody from John Deere Engineering sees this and you want to pull your head out of your... Enough of this rant. All right, I'm gonna get this in and we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, up next we're gonna change out the air filters. There's only 2 clips. Yeah, it's fairly dirty. Not too bad. And I am going to replace the center one just because same rule applies. I'd rather have it all up to snuff than go off of the hours. I could probably get 2 years out of the center filter, but I would rather just, if I spend the money doing maintenance, preventative maintenance, I hopefully reduce how much surprise maintenance I have to do. Here we go. That back on the top. Actually in a knot. Yep, we're in. All right, sweet. Excellent. So before I put that back in place, we're just gonna pop off the old O-ring. And in the packaging, it has the new filter and it has a new O-ring. I'll just plop that down. That's all set. Back in here. Just next time I need to remember to just hit the face of this with some brake clean so I don't run the risk of having contaminants in there. New filter goes in, cover goes on. Alright, not too tight because it's only a plastic cover. There we go. Close up the oil drain. not too tight because it's just a plastic drain. Yeah. And we just take the oil filter and chuck it in. I did lubricate the gasket. We're just gonna go hand tight, so it should be good. All right, and the oil capacity is right about 2.5 quarts. I think it's like 2.4. That's with the filter change. So we're just gonna dump this. Just check this one in. Then I split the 3rd quart. I just split that in half. That way we are right about all set. Cool. Next we are filling up the hydraulic reservoir, and it only has a level. You probably can't see that. So that is the max level, and the minimum is right there. So we're gonna fill that up. Let's not lose that. And I'm just gonna use this high guard funnel. I know I used high guard with it before, so I'm not going to be adding a foreign oil into this. So makes my life just a little bit easier. I know it's gonna take a full gallon. Just let that bubble down for a minute as it works its way into the transmissions. Hopefully you can see down in there. But that's at the bottom. We filled the transmissions, but we have not filled the reservoir. So I need more hydraulic fluid. So I have almost another gallon in here. We're just gonna Oh, that's not good. This is about to be a mess. Okay, well, it wasn't a mess, but there is definitely too much in there. Okay, so maybe the gallon plus 1 quart would have been enough? No, it probably wouldn't have been. It might have been. Might have been close. Oops. Okay, I have this crummy little hand pump, but it will do what I need it to do. If we, or if we just jam it in there. Well done, me. I made a really good mess. Am I proud of it? No. But it's fine. Alright, that's good. Well done, Josh. You made an absolute freaking mess out of this. And of course, I do this when I'm filming myself. Normally, I probably would make half as much of a mess, but because I'm recording myself, I make a giant mess. Oh well. I'm not here to hide anything. I'm not perfect. Far from it. I make mistakes. This is life. Stuff happens. Now I know in the instructions for servicing the mower, you're supposed to take this motor brush guard off, but with the bagger installed, not necessarily the bagger, but the blower motor and all that stuff, you're gonna spend half a day just taking that off to then put it back on because you need it. So a little bit of inconvenience is not worth half a day taking this off and putting it back on again. That doesn't mean I can't complain that I don't like they didn't design it so you had access to the spark plug at least somewhat easily. Now maybe if I had some different attachments for my wrench, things would be easier, but for now, that's the main issue I have with this mower. Okay, so hydraulic fluid is done. Filters are changed. Oil is changed. Filter is changed. Fuel filter is fully connected and clamped. Spark plugs are done. Air filter is done. So the only thing left to do is grease the mower deck with all 3 grease fittings that this machine has. No, sorry, it has 5. There's 3 on the mower deck and 1 for each wheel. So there's 1 for each of those pulleys and then 1 for each wheel, front wheel. That is it. There are 5 grease fittings for this entire machine, which which is pretty sweet. I like that I don't have to crawl underneath the back and do all kinds of stupid things to get a grease fitting. There is also a grease fitting on the blower motor arm, the pulley arm. So with the blower on, there's 6. Without it, there's 5. But we need to grease those, jack up the deck, change the mower blades, probably scrape the mower deck, and then we'll be out of here. That's about as high as it'll go with the blower motor on. No, actually, I really don't need to scrape. Looking at it, there's not really much under here, which is cool. That's the upside to bagging dry leaves, is there's not really anything to clump up. Drop this down. Well, maybe you don't drop it down on your okay, well, I didn't break that, so that's cool. And the last thing we're gonna do is grease fittings. So this one right here. I don't actually know how much grease it takes, right? But I'd rather have more than enough grease than not enough grease. So I don't want to have to replace that bearing anytime soon. Yeah, that's probably good. That's probably good enough. Yeah, that's probably good enough. One grease fitting, right? Oh, that's good. That's all set. That's ready to go for next spring. I will throw some fuel stabilizer in the fuel tank, throw a little bit of extra fresh gas in there, and we'll be good until late April by the time we can actually start mowing things when things actually dry out, if not early May. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.